Hello and welcome to Season 3, Episode 61 of One Man's Opinion. Today I am reviewing Connecticut Repertory Theater's production of War of the Worlds 2023, Servants of Two Networks, conceived and directed by Jaron Aviv Hollander, running through December 10th at the Nafe Catter Theater at 820 Bolton Road in Storrs, Connecticut. Hey y'all, I hope everyone is having a wonderful holiday season, and if you're in the holiday giving spirit, I invite everyone to visit my Patreon page where you can, for as little as $1 a month, become a patron. I will leave a link in the description. Don't let the title card deceive you. War of the Worlds 2023, Servants of Two Networks is not a modern interpretation of the classic H.G. Wells book or the Orson Welles radio drama, nor is it a modern interpretation of Carlo Goldani's comedy The Servant of Two Masters. Let's say it is loosely, very loosely, inspired by both works. Of note is the credit for Jaron Aviv Hollander as conceived and directed by. There is no script of the play, according to Connecticut Rep Artistic Director Megan Monahan Rivas, who introduced the piece. She said that Hollander created the story, but there isn't a script in the classic sense of the word. Obviously, there are directional elements, plot points that must be fulfilled, and lines that have developed during rehearsal that get the plot to where it is required to get in order for it to end. But there are also obviously improvised moments, especially when characters interact with the audience. A lot of it is rather silly and entertaining, but one of the drawbacks of a play with no script is managing the pace. The play is in 2 acts, and for a broad satirical comedy such as this, 2.5 hours is way too long, especially the first act, which tends to spin its wheels for quite a while. Still, there is an interesting narrative here with a comic take on today's penchant for sensationalism in the media. The 2 main characters are Ichabod Sacchetti, or Icky Sack as he is also known. Yeah, that's his name, and there's going to be more similar to that. He's played by Alex Winnick. And then there's Mumu Griffin III, played by Weimy Montero Candelario. Icky is the Harlequin or Arlecchino analog, while Mumu is the Beatrice analog from The Servant of Two Masters, if you're familiar with the play. The 2 are reporters for competing cable news agencies, MSCBD and Dog News. Alas, Mumu is camera shy and pays off Icky, who is an unpaid intern, to cover the alien invasion of Hartford for her network. He's already committed to working for his own network, but he agrees to her proposal because he wants to make the money. The first act consists of the duo trying to make inroads with scientists and the military to get a scoop on a top-secret alien transmission that is possessed by the military under the command of General Willi Stroker, played by Charles Rusciano. Yes, that's the character's name, Willi Stroker. He also has a lieutenant named Lou Tennant, played by Carlos Fruzetti. The scientists are led by Dr. Professor Eureka Zerika, played by Annie Tolis. Her assistant is named Lambda Venus Zeta, PhD, played by Caitlin Oliva. The aliens, who are represented by a couple clever and comical-looking puppets with faces that remind me of Pepe the Prawn from the Muppets, don't appear on stage until the top of the second act. Their intent is unknown, but they start abducting the various characters, which leads to a rather senseless silhouette orgy, a scene that could have been directed a bit better to visualize the comedy for what it was. Yeah, so I guess this is also part Rocky Horror Show as well. It's all a rather silly show, War of the Worlds is, garbed in Adrianne Williams's exaggerated cartoonish costume designs that feel like a fantasy piece out of a 1990s Nickelodeon cartoon. The cast is fully committed to the over-the-top zany performances, particularly Rusciano's flamboyantly gay General Willi Stroker and Montero Candelario's gigantic expressionistic features as Mumu Griffin III. The puppetry, designed by Jaron Hollander, is good. I love the aliens, but the mouths of the puppets used for the newscaster puppets were sometimes lost, as they have different masks that get put on them, and they somewhat obscure the mouths of the puppets. There were some pretty awesome lighting effects by Kayo Tokuue, especially one that is used practically as part of the alien spacecraft in the second act as a part of Austin Kuhn's scenic design. I'm not going to say what happens with it because it's a finale plot point, but it was pretty impressive conceptually and it worked. War of the Worlds 2023 as Servant of Two Networks is a silly, funny piece. I don't feel that it really lands its intended message of the dangers of pundits, media sensationalism, and blind ideological devotion, but it does have its smart moments. It's overlong by a good half hour at least, but the cast make up for the lengthy run with a charisma that is engaging. If I recommend War of the Worlds, it's with reservations. It's funny, but it doesn't reach the level of smart satire that I think it strives to be. But I am only one man's opinion, so be sure to leave yours in the comments below. If you'd like to see War of the Worlds 2023 as Servant of Two Networks, I'll leave a link in the description where you can get tickets. Also in the description will be a link to my Patreon page, so be sure to visit that as well. You can also support my channel by liking, sharing, and subscribing, and click the notification bell to be alerted to future reviews. My next review will be How to Dance in Ohio. Thank you for watching, and I will see you at the theater.